of the program. Great to be with you as always. How you doing? You all right? Everybody good? I'm Jeff. That's Tom. Tom's working from home today. Tom's busy. You there, buddy? You all right? I know you got to go do something. Go do something. I got plenty to tell the people.
I got some things to immediately attend to. I'll be around. I'll be back. I promise. It's crazy Friday. What a crazy Friday.
He's got some things to adhere to at the house, at the Hizzy for T. Lizzy. There it is. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. Appreciate you. You know, guys, first of all, in the chat, how you doing, everybody out there? Thanks for watching. Mom will be here to defend her title. Whooped my ass last year. It was quite decisive. So we've got games to pick later in the show. Hey, believe it or not, I know some of you are hard on Lee Sterling occasionally, but he went 5-0 with his picks last week. So he's off to a good start. We got 5 more games from him. Take them for what they are. You like it, you don't like it, it's up to you. But I always like to have a handicapper on, so we have some fun with it. Really quickly, let's address a couple of things. And good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you guys in there. Hope you're well. Appreciate you very much so, especially during these trying times. Man, and they are. You can't really escape it, can you? Like, you gotta, it's like stages in your life. When you're 18, 19, 20, and you're passionate about sports, they're all consuming. Like, for a guy, it's pretty much sports. Like, if you're a sports guy, and I would presume that the vast majority of you listening to this program, watching this program, being involved in any way with this program are, and you probably have been for a long time. You probably played organized sports. You grew up caring. You have a passion. Eventually, it led you, in most cases, for the people listening to FSU, your fandom, it blossomed into something that was a passion, obviously. And so when you're like 18, 19, 20 years old, it's like 3 things that are on your mind. It's your teams. It's sports, right? It's probably, let's be honest, chicks, and it's maybe partying because you're young and you're away from home for the first time. And it's like, yeah, those are like the 3 staples. And you take all of them pretty damn seriously, especially your sports, where you can be irrational, fanatical, right? That's what it becomes. You become fanatical about your teams. In particular, for those of us that love college football and love Florida State football, it's like it can be all consuming. I can remember leaving games at Doak after some devastating losses and obviously wins that left us euphoric and everything in between. And I remember like being, I was almost unresponsive for hours on end, maybe even in the next day if it was a night game. Like you'd wake up thinking, son of a, did that just happen? Did we really lose that game that way? Are you effing kidding? It bothered you. And it kind of stuck with you sometimes for days. Like you had to get to another game. You had to get to the next Saturday. And even then, especially if it was like a wide right, I was at the wide rights. Been there, done that, seen them. I was at 26-25 at 87. I've been at a lot of those moments where you fall to your knees devastated, right? But when you look back on it, when you maybe are in your 30s, you're like, well, I maybe needed some balance in my life. Perhaps certainly okay to be passionate and really, really have a passion for your football program and your team and your university. And that's fine. You can root like hell, cheer like hell. But somewhere along the way, as you get a little bit older, especially if you have kids, you end up, kind of finding some balance. You end up, all right, I'd really, really want us to win in the moment that I'm watching the game, whether I'm in attendance or watching from the house or at a sports bar. Yeah, I'm prone to say crazy things, curse, yell, slam your fist on the table or something like that when you get frustrated. That can still happen. But when it's over, you have a little bit of perspective. You're kind of, well, you know what? Wife and I are good. I got a good job. Kids are healthy. Fortunate. My mom and dad are still around. Things could be worse. We lost a football game. We're going to have to get better. That sucks. And then you kind of, throughout the rest of the week, go back through it. And you reanalyze some things because in the moment you're passionate and maybe you overlook some things. So then you go back and you rewatch the game maybe. I know plenty of fans who rewatch the game the next day. I have to, and I do. Usually more than once. I'll watch it live, and then I'll watch it a second time, and maybe even a third time before I come in here, so that I can talk definitively about what I saw and be sure I was right, because you get it wrong sometimes. Sometimes going back and going through it in slow motion certainly helps. All right, well, the point is, football doesn't become the be-all, end-all. It just becomes a big part of your life, and there's some balance with it, right? You kind of figure it out somewhere in there. And that's a good thing. But what's weird to me so far this year is this, and we touched on this a little bit yesterday, but I thought it this morning when I was pouring my cup of coffee, just to set the stage. You guys know this. I wear it like a badge of honor. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I always wanted to be when I was young and I couldn't, and now I am because I'm old, a guy who gets up in the morning very early, because my dad did and still does. My granddad did. And those guys were both in the Army. And I don't know, maybe I just associated folks getting things done when they get up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. But I could never get up. I hated it. I used to be a night owl. Haven't been in years. Now I get up ass o'clock, as my wife says. Why do you always get up at ass o'clock? Because I like to. It's my time. Well, this week in particular, I've noticed some things. I walked out to the kitchen to start the day. So my dogs, right, the first thing that happens, they go out in the morning, they come back in. I get set to walk them. They eat, whatever. You say good morning, the whole deal. Coffee's ready to go. I'm going to make the kids lunches. I'm going to pour that cup of coffee, and I'm going to take my time because it's quiet and there's nobody to bother me, and it's my time. I got another hour before the kids get up, another hour before my wife gets up, and it's just me. I can get things done. I can sit down and look at the games that I want to bet. I can outline some topics that I'd like to discuss on the Jeff Cameron Show later that afternoon. I can get some insight about something that maybe I don't know, or something I want to learn about, whatever it might be, as I sip my cup of joe. It's my time and it's beautiful. But my time was pretty much ruined this week, because I noticed that somewhere in the midst of all of it, as I sat down at my computer or on my recliner to read on my laptop, I'm sipping, I'm still pretty perturbed. Still pretty bothered in a way that since I've gotten older, I've not been about football. Still care, still bothers me. Hell, I still get mad when the Pirates lose, and they lose a lot. You'd think I'd get used to it. But if I'm watching and they lose, and they won last night, but if they lose, I'm like, son of a... So, it's always still going to eat at you. You're still a fan. You still care. You're still locked in on your things. But normally it doesn't, we're not 2 and 3 days removed, and I'm still waking up getting angry about the team's performance up to this point. I'm not still waking up typically furious about an aspect of what we're doing wrong, or something that leaves me incredulous. When I watch our linebackers, for example, gang, I'm left speechless at times. I'm flummoxed when I look out there and see what they're not doing or what they are doing. Either way you want to look at it. I'm perplexed by much of what I'm seeing or not seeing when I rewatch these games. It's gotten to a place where I've literally had to sit and think, staring at a blank sheet as I outline some of the things I want to talk about on the show. Where do I begin? When you don't have anything to hang your hat on, it's much more difficult to digest. Like those old losses I'm referencing, those old conversations and moments of extreme outbursts and passionate meltdowns because your team failed. Like, I'm thinking back in my life at most of those, save for the Jeff Bowden era. Most of those kind of, you figured it out as it was happening. There was a lot to understand and digest mid-game. It was pretty easy to see, and you could say, well, we knew at the end of last year this segment group was going to be a problem. We didn't really have anybody on the roster that I was in love with, and now here we are in season, and it's still a problem, or whatever it might be, right? But when you have nothing to hang your hat on, when you're sitting there thinking they don't run the ball well, they don't throw the ball well, the receivers don't get open, the offensive line hasn't opened holes, the defensive line has been substandard to say the least, the linebackers are clueless, not physical, don't trigger, don't cover backs, struggle in every facet of the game. The safeties are non-existent. I don't know if our corners are any good or not. Nobody's really had to throw the ball against us. They've just done whatever they've wanted to do. And when I put that together with the year ago, this team was 13-0, I expected a setback. I expected them to take a step back, but I didn't think that they would fall to pieces. And either did Mike, and either did any of the coaches or anybody that covers the team or anybody that is as objective as you'd like them to be with their analysis. Nobody saw this. And you're asking, I'm trying to lend context to these conversations on a daily basis. I'm trying to give you something that might open a window into what's ailing the program right now. And it's hard to do. Yeah. There are lots of places, like you begin pulling a thread, right, and watch the whole thing unravel. There are lots of things that you can touch on, lots of things that you can look to and say, in hindsight. And it got me to thinking, because I've seen the blame fall at the feet of a lot of people, right? Plenty of blame to go around. I've seen people mad, I think rightfully, at Mike Norvell. I've seen people obviously very, very upset with the way that DJ's played. We've all criticized the lines of scrimmage. I mean, it's self-evident. Not getting it done. It's embarrassing. Boston College didn't have to do anything. They just lined up and ran the damn ball right down your throat over and over again. And it's, you're watching that and you're like, whoa. A couple of these guys played really well last year. What is going on here? And so every time I go down the road of, where do you want to start? I've seen people blame the collective, the battle's in. Like, I've seen people online anyhow be like, this is the collective's fault. So I went and did some research. I posted this on the boards on Warchant as an answer to somebody's question. Somebody said, well, where do we rank? What would our this year's dollars spent on the roster, where would that rank compared to other collectives? And is it just that we don't have what we need to compete in the modern game of football? No, right now, figured it out. We would rank somewhere between 6th in the country, 6th highest payroll in the country or thereabouts, to the 15th. It's hard to get exact figures on all of this. There's some things I do know very specifically, but it's between 6 and 15, which, if you're operating at peak efficiency, if everything within the football operations, and that includes recruiting, that includes coaching, that also includes evaluation, that also includes coaching, that includes execution, that includes the athletic department, that includes the head of the boosters, that includes the head of the athletic department. That, Mike Alford is certainly taking some heat right about now, and I think deservedly so. I would think many in the administration would understand that the game day experience has been ass. There's a huge pushback because guess what's embarrassing? It's embarrassing when the band, the marching chiefs, have to release a statement, in essence apologizing for why it is they can't play the war chant on 3rd down. Not a good look, not ideal, not what you want, and not anything that should have ever been at the forefront of national conversation the way it was yesterday. So suffice to say that the operations encompassing football are not operating at peak efficiency. You've got problems from, at least for now, the athletic director, the head of the boosters. You could throw anybody else in there you want. We're talking about the totality of what makes up a strong football operation. And when you're 0-2 after losing to 2 significantly poorer lineups, personnel, rosters, programs, 2 that you were heavily favored to win, including your home opener, in which you look completely incompetent, impotent, however it is you'd like to describe. You mustered 13 points against BC at home. Then things are not obviously working the way that they had intended. So those complaints are valid, some of which could have been avoided, some of which are somewhat incomprehensible, nonetheless fall at the feet eventually of those in charge. And Mike Norvell knows that and has said as much, did so yesterday in his media availability. But I think this is why that nagging voice that disturbed my morning coffee won't shut up this time around, is that it's inexplicable. It came out of nowhere. Usually you see these things coming. We first guessed when Bobby Bowden made Jeff Bowden the offensive coordinator that was going to be a mistake, that's not what you do. It wasn't a good hire. There were a lot of reasons this was going to implode. And as I said way back then, it's not the hiring, it's the firing that gets you in trouble when it comes to nepotism. And we went through all of the wranglings and problems. And then when Jimbo's program began to unravel, you could see it coming a little bit. And there were certain behaviors and comments and things that you witness on the field itself that built to a point where you could expect some of these poor performances. But this one came out of nowhere. And it's hard to figure. Everybody's got a theory. I do, you do, we all do. And we've ventured out on that ledge and talked about that and had that conversation, some of which are just speculative, others obviously succinct, knowledgeable, on point. Others, rightfully, are sort of guesses. Because when it's this comprehensive, the futility you're witnessing is this comprehensive, it's usually not just one thing. It's a bunch of things. But how did we go from very few things being wrong to apparently now everything, from the product on the field to the recruiting to the coaching to the administration to the game day experience? Sweet Jesus, man. That's tough to see coming. That's frustrating. That's difficult. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. More in a moment.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's no heating and air conditioning.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Pinch A Penny Pools has the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the city. You might even call it Tallahassee's Hot Tub Hub. 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, with over 50 of them on site. Over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But I digress. So why should you own a hot tub from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Number one, health benefits, of course. The healing powers of soaking in a hot bubbling pool of water go back centuries. Google it. Number two, Pinch A Penny has hot tubs with technology called Freshwater IQ. It gives you real-time chemical readings and tells you exactly what to add to keep the water at peak perfection, with automated analysis to help you control the chlorine and pH. It's hot tubs for dummies. Sign me up. Number three, they have the best prices, of course. Plus, you get a free accessory and no interest financing. Easy peasy. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Locally owned, locally operated, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Probably needed the liner there. I failed. It's first time back in the seat in a while. My apologies. We're good to go, but we're live now. I spoke earlier today, just before the start of the show, with Lee Sterling. Here are his picks. Let's get it. Memphis given a bunch of points. That's who Florida State plays next. 17.5 against Troy.
That's why I put it on there. And I think it's a team to watch. Memphis, they beat Florida State. They could go undefeated. They have a pretty easy path. I think they're going to win this game easy. The thing I was shocked in, they have a lot of offensive talent. If you have more talent, speed up the game, more possessions, less chance the other team has a chance to beat you. They have more talent. They have more depth. I don't know why they don't go more hurry up. They've got a couple really good receivers. Rock Taylor's really good. I think their quarterback, top shelf here. Got some concerns on the offensive line and always on defense, but this is a very underrated team to get into the 12-team playoff here. Troy is totally rebuilding. I mean, they lost all their talent, new coach. I like Memphis big. I like Memphis. I think they win this game 45-14.
There you go. Lay the points all day long. Tennessee looked great. I know it wasn't against much. NC State did not look great. This line's moved around, Lee. It's kind of important. Like, if you're given 7.5 or 7, that's a lot different than 6.5. So I would tell people to hunt a little bit here. But is this game going to be close at all? Because it kind of feels like a big win for Tennessee.
The public loves Tennessee.
Right.
And here's why. They probably only watched the first 3 quarters of the NC State game. And in that game, Grayson McCall, I hate to, dig a little salt into the wound. He was the guy that you should have gone after. Was there any talk about going after him, or was he locked into NC State?
I think he was pretty well locked into NC State.
He is really good. Now, first 3 years, he was amazing at Coastal Carolina. Then he got hurt. He was not the same last year when he played. He played almost every game hurt that he did play. He missed a bunch. First 3 quarters, he was high, he was low, he was behind receivers, in front of them. It looked awful. Then all of a sudden, everything started clicking. That's why you got to watch the whole game. I think they have the best player on the field in Casey Concepcion. They also have a couple really good receivers. Noah Rogers is good. Their tight end, Justin Jolly. The weakness here, sometimes Tennessee's the better team. Tennessee has 7 or 8 receivers. Only problem is you can only play 4 or 5 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
They will have some success. They might have a lot of success scoring. But I think NC State is going to also. I think the Tennessee DBs are the worst in the SEC.
Wow.
Everyone loves Tennessee. This line's up to 10 now. Check it out.
Wow.
I like NC State outright, 38-34.
Wow, big upset. That'd be a nice win for the ACC, which has gotten off to a rocky start, save for Miami. Yeah. Texas in the big game, obviously, going to Michigan. And, I thought Michigan looked offensively challenged last weekend. Defensively, we know they're going to be good all year long. That is a very, very good defense. Texas looks the part as certainly a playoff team. Give me your thoughts on this. Is this Texas big, or is Michigan's defense going to keep this close into the fourth quarter?
So I think Michigan's defense is top 5 in the country. They have 2 guys that are going to go probably top 15 in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas's defense is just as good. Texas is too deep, almost at every single position. They have been recruiting and developing talent. So I think the biggest weakness here is Michigan's quarterback, Davis Warren. He is a former walk-on. He is a game manager's manager. And you can see him when you go into what fast food? You go to any fast food restaurants at all?
Not that often, my man. Not that often.
What do you eat?
If I do, it would be chicken, so probably Chick-fil-A.
Okay. If you see the manager there, don't say, Davis Warren? Is that you? The kid's probably a nice kid. I don't think he's going to be the quarterback. I think Orji is going to be the quarterback in a couple weeks here. Their 4 scoring drives covered 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns, 26 to 47 yards. So I just think that they have had some real problems when they're moving on and head coaches the first year. And next week after this game, you're going to say this line should have been line 12, 13 points here. I like Texas 30 to 14.
There we go. Yep. All right. Now, this is fun. We get to do some NFL games, and you got both teams in the state. You got all 3 teams from the state that we're going to touch on right now. Tampa Bay against Washington. A lot of people think Washington may have the rookie of the year playing quarterback. If a little pizza money before the year, I kind of look that way. But is the team any good as they head to Tampa Bay and take on the Bucs, who are given 3.5?
No, they have 2 players. Mm-hmm. I think Daniels is that good. I think he's right there with Williams. Both of them, they were 1 and 1A. I have Terry McLaurin, believe it or not, on my fantasy. He's my 3rd receiver. I'm debating going with a running back, Singletary, for the Giants, because I think that they're going to be all over him. No one, you listen to different programs, right?
Sure.
You watch different programs. Does anyone talk about Tampa Bay on their programs in the offseason?
Not really.
No one talks about them. They're a constant. They just develop talent. They know their system. They've won 3 straight division titles. It's not going to be pretty. They'll win 24 to 13, but I like Tampa Bay here in this game.
Dolphins are going to have to make hay here, I think, this year, because I think they've got salary cap problems coming long term. But now is the time, and they're giving 3.5 to Jacksonville, who I thought was a pretty good team halfway through the season last year. Didn't Jacksonville start 8-1 before it all fell to pieces? This could be an interesting game. How do you see this one playing out?
Remember, I'm not sure. I thought they got off to a poor start.
I thought they got off to a good start and then fell to pieces.
Yeah, either one way or the other. They had a real bad run. Here's the thing about Miami. They're very good at some positions. Great. And they're going to be able to throw the ball some. But their interior line, their center and 2 guards, just are not very good. Their defensive line was weakened by losing Wilkins to free agency, losing him to the Raiders. And then their cornerback position, Jalen Ramsey may not be able to go. He's got a hamstring issue. Their 3rd cover corner, Caillou, in the slot, was horrible last year. They're saying he looks a little better, but doesn't look great to me here. Jacksonville, I think, people usually wilt in that first game against Miami, the South Florida Heat, but North Florida Heat this time of year, not much different. I don't see much difference between these 2 teams. I think 3.5 might be a little too much. This line should be maybe 2.5, 2 points here. I think Jacksonville might shock some people here. I like their offense, love their special teams. Let's call for the upset. Hate to say it, but I think Jacksonville's the right side here, 28-27.
And I appreciate that pick, Lee, because I already bet it. I took Jacksonville as well. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your free play this week is Auburn and Cal.
Yep.
How can folks get the game?
First 5 callers. Call 800-400-9741. Give it to them for free. I have a real strong opinion on this game. Know the Cal quarterback real well. So I'm down here at Miami Columbus. So I've got something on him, either positive or negative. First 5 callers, 800-400-9741. 10-2 start, college football in the NFL. You want to get signed up. We hit our 40-unit play last week with Nebraska. Our biggest play hit our 35-unit best bet with Miami. You want to hop on board another 40 to 50-unit major wager release going on Saturday, and we're a lifetime 66-23 on these games.
Jeff Cameron Show, there you go. Those are his picks, and we got those to you pretty quick today. So last week he was good, really good. Sometimes Sometimes I wipe the floor with Lee. But last week he was solid as a rock. Let's see how he does this week. I know that when I have my mom on, you're going to hear a difference of opinion on a million games. It's crazy how many games we have different this week. Real quick, don't forget about my friends at Tried and True Consulting. They've got the ad board program going on right now for you. It can boost and expose your company, their services, their business, what they do. That's Knowles helping Knowles. If you have the space or need to sell more, then you can do that on these ad boards that they'll provide for you for free. Come into your place of business. Say you're a restaurant, put up a 55-inch television, 2/3 of which will be whatever you want it to be, and the others could be promoting your services or, in fact, other businesses right there in your location. So a dentist's office, if you are an auto mechanic, whatever, that you have a waiting room, a space for it, call Don or Joe today. Tried and True Consulting, 10% of their net revenue going to the Battles Inn, which is also a good thing. 844-464-6653 is the number you want to call there. Or scan that QR code. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A female student has been arrested after bringing a handgun to McIntyre Park Middle School in Thomasville. The firearm was safely secured and there were no reports of threats or injuries. The gun was seized after another student alerted McIntyre principal Courtney Davenport after they saw the gun in the student's bag. The principal acted swiftly, collaborating with the school resource officer and local law enforcement. The handgun was secured safely and the student involved was taken into custody by the police. The news comes just a day after 2 students and 2 teachers were killed in a shooting at a high school northeast of Atlanta. Human remains were found on the north side of Thomas County Wednesday, according to the Thomas County Sheriff's Office. Utility workers discovered the remains near Hansel Chastain Road and Hall Road. Authorities are collecting evidence at this time. The victim's identity and cause of death are unknown. Whether foul play is suspected will be determined at a later date. This is Rachel Anay with Roll Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy this afternoon with storms and heavy rain likely. Highs around 79, southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 70 tonight, chance for storms. Thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs level off around 79, cloudy skies expected. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 75.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. So I'm very thankful for it. And the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Got a good game last night, eh? It's nice to see. Don't know if you won that game. Did you have the under? Did you have Kansas City? Did you lay the points? What'd you do? I know this. T. Lizzie, I think you won. I'll tell you something right now. A little frustrated. I had Derrick Henry more than 7 yards receiving. He was targeted twice for a grand total of 0 yards.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, my man. That's a toughie. I need you to fall forward.
So
7 yards. Couldn't
we
get
were
one.
we were talking before we left the office together yesterday about I wanted to find something. It's opening night. You got to find an angle.
Have something, a little juice.
Give me something. So I played Xavier Worthy. I was going to take the over on his receiving yards, figuring on it'd be like 38.5, maybe 40 or something. And as we're leaving, it was 47.5 yards. I'm like, man, that's too rich. I can't do that. Then I wait till closer to kickoff. And at the time of kickoff, at least on Hard Rock, it was 46.5 was the total. Or 46.5 in a 27-20 game. I get it could have gone way over, but I mean, still, nice job, Vegas. 42.5 for Xavier Worthy at kickoff. I played it. And there you go. That last touchdown made all the difference. So we hit the over.
It was a weird night for Lamar, who had moments where he looked great and moments where you go, my man, that can't happen. One of those throws was a chip the bricks. That was a chip in the bricks kind of throw right there in the back of the end zone. My man, what are we doing?
I didn't need PTSD on Thursday Night Football on that 1st and goal throw. That's what that was. That was PTSD. You got to be kidding me. I just saw this on Monday.
He actually missed. I went back. There was in real time, it looked like he missed 4 really, really big plays, throws. And I think looking back, I was wrong about 1, but there's 3 that are just not good when you're an elite quarterback. And it's going to be frustrating, especially when you lose by 7. I mean, he had 2 more opportunities before we ever got to that point where he woefully missed a receiver that was wide open. So, listen, it's not the end of the world. Baltimore should be fine. Kansas City is Kansas City, and we know what they'll do. Even when last year, think about Kansas City. They were awful in the first half of the season. Their offense was dreadful. And now when we look back and you think about it, you go, well, good Lord, everybody. He didn't have a single receiver to throw to. Rashee Rice was a guy I picked up off the heap for fantasy early in the year out of desperation because of a bunch of injuries. He turned into a guy, but even he was not, an elite wide receiver. And everybody else he had, not named Kelsey, was garbage. And they still won the Super Bowl. Now they go get some weapons. You're like, damn it, man. Damn it, man.
This was our take the Monday after the Super Bowl was that, man, this was the year to go get him, to get Kansas City to knock him off, because every mock draft, every single one of them from about November on said that Xavier Worthy is going to be a Kansas City Chief, and they all let it happen because all those other teams had needs, but no player in the draft fit the profile of what his team needed from a skill position.
Dude on earth, yes.
Right. He's a replacement for Tyreek. They tried to do it with Mecole Hardman in the last couple of years, but they have been looking for the Tyreek.
Negative about Mecole Hardman. He's a Lakewood High School guy. Anyhow, go ahead.
Well, he's not Tyreek Hill is what I can say. I'm sure he's not Tyreek as a person either, that's a good thing.
That's a compliment, yeah.
But, man, you knew it was coming. Every mock, 1.0, 6.2, and everywhere in between. Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. Yikes. And that offense, I thought, struggled on its own, like because of its own self-inflicted issues last night. They were getting cute in a couple of drives. They could have dropped 40 last night. They really could have. That offense was humming. They stopped themselves a few times.
Yeah, it's a game 1, so you see weird things like all kinds of illegal formation penalties. Get it together, everybody. I did crack up. Did you see today? So the internet remains undefeated in this way. There were questions being asked about how you can be called for that many illegal formations in one game, and somebody posted a picture in response, and it was that of Willie Taggart being on the staff at Baltimore.
That's a good
call. They just showed Ravens assistant coach Willie Taggart. They're like, boom.
That's also a little hockey wanting to get in the middle of everything. That dude loves his screen time. Officials know it's a television product, and so they play it up for television. If they can put themselves front and center, they do. It doesn't happen in any sport more than the NFL. It used to be the NBA was like the one where it was the ref show. MLB had the ump show for a while, but man.
Well, they still do. They still do.
NFL head officials, they love their time. And then I saw even one of his side judges last night, I think it was the end of the first quarter, there was a bit of a back and forth between a couple of players at the sideline. Might have been Lamar and a guy. And the line judge just runs in there and like puffs his chest out to separate the two players. Like, get over yourself, man. I
can deal with a couple of, so I don't know if you saw this pop up. It popped up on, is it John Boy Media that does the baseball stuff? He's good at it. It's good. It's fun to watch. But I was watching the game the other night when Paul Skeens pitched against the Cubs. The Pirates won 5-0. And Skeens throws an outside fastball, which is outside by maybe an inch, a half an inch. He thought it was strike 3, and he was pumped about it because it was a tough AB, and he really located, and he started to walk off the mound. And the ump snaps and yells at Skeens instead of just not calling it a strike, which is what you can do. Just call it a ball and stand there and wait for the next pitch. Instead, he begins to yell at Skeens because he feels as if he's been shown up. Well, Shelton, the manager for the Pirates, begins to yell at the umpire. It's like, hey, man, shut up. Stop talking to my pitcher. Just call it a ball and shut your mouth. And they're going back and forth. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, baseball has this happen with umpires a lot, where they inject themselves into a situation. I get you don't want to show up umpires and all these other things, but where I can live with officials making mistakes. It's a tough job. I can live with officials missing and blowing calls in a fast game like football. I can deal with all that. It's the dudes that like bow up like they're gonna fight one of these professional athletes. Like they think that they're on equal footing, as if people are there to see them and not the athlete, right? That they're as much a part of the game as the people that are playing the sport, right? And it's absurd. Like, it's expressly stated to these folks that you do not get combative with players. A call's a call in any sport. You call it, you may get it right, you may get it wrong. We'll evaluate that call. Certainly you can tell somebody that they have to stop talking to you if they continue and they persist. You know, hey, we're done here, man. I don't want to have to run you, but we're done here. But when you bow up as if, what, you're going to fight Paul Skeens, all 6'6", 260 of them, you 5'9" fat ass, what are you going to do? Nothing. When you watch something like that, it's bizarre. It's something that every league can certainly get right. It shouldn't be hard. Like, I would fine my officials if I felt like they crossed a line to where they were inviting and elevating more of the consternation and elevation of violence or anger or whatever it might be, right? I would never, like, if you cross that line as an official in any sport, we're done here, man. You get like one of those and a fine, and after that, you do it again, we're done. You're not a professional player. You're not involved. You're not involved other than calling balls and strikes or throwing a flag for an illegal procedure or whatever it might be. That's it. You know, got him on the arm. Beep, beep. There you go. Two shots. We're not fighting over this. We're not arguing over this. I'm going to give you the call. We're done here.
No, it's uncomfortable. It happened last year against LSU with the official who took, was it Tatum? Who laid the wood?
Oh, yeah. He's lecturing him. He gets in his face. Yes.
Right.
Tatum
and what's ridiculous there is the official can grab the player by the arm or grab them by the jersey and take them over in a place and talk to them and do this thing. But if a player, brushes up against an official or an umpire of any kind, it's like an automatic ejection. So I don't like that double standard there either. It's like when you see a couple, and this could go man, woman, woman, man, and like one guides the other away by their arm. You're like, man, I don't like that. I've seen both. I'm like, no matter how you slice it, like, ooh, I don't like the energy that brings to this room that I'm in right now. I think I'd like to leave. Same thing. An official like grabs a player. Sometimes they grab them by their shoulder pads or whatever, and like they'll try to talk to them. They'll even like huddle in. I'm like, get away.
The best officials, Tom, and I always found this. I remember this goes all the way back to like Pee Wee days on up. A lot of really good football officials will give you an opportunity to adjust to whatever it is they're focused on that particular game. The legal mandate certain things. And this is all the way down from professional football all the way down to high school and beyond. Like, hey, we've seen an influx of this, and this in the game. We got to weed it out. We got to get this removed from the game. So we're really going to concentrate on, the chop block or whatever. We're going to concentrate on illegal procedure or too many men down or an offensive lineman downfield on a pass play. We really got to get this out of the game. There are guys 5-7 yards beyond the line of scrimmage at the time of the throw. We've really got to, because it's unfair to a defense, we're going to call that. Every time we see, if it's even close, call it. So they'll say that, right? At the start of a game, most of the time in those situations, they tell the player the first time that they are guilty of the infraction. They don't actually throw the flag unless it's egregious. They won't actually throw the flag, but they'll say, hey, 77. That's once, man. You don't get two. You're 4 yards downfield. The next time it happens on a throw, I'm calling it. I'm telling you, we're going to be watching it all day. Got it? All day. 77 now knows. Okay, he's been warned. Everybody's got it. That's the right way to do it. It's not confrontational. You're helping the guy out. And that way, when you call it the next time, there isn't a dispute. He already knows.
Well, apparently they did warn the left tackle for the Ravens last night once before they started throwing the flags. But, here's my thing. One of those penalties, he's up above the belt line of the guard. It's not a penalty at all. If you're going to call some things, can we call Jawan Taylor the right tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs every time that he false starts? Because he false starts last night was no short of 12 times. They called it once. It's not like the perfect jump thing that Michael Strahan or
right.
Richie White used to have. It's like, wow, they perfectly jumped the snap. Man, the right tackle leaves early. It's been years that this guy leaves early. Why don't you call the movement thing rather than the relative positioning thing before you snap the ball?
Offensive linemen have really been, I think, mastering this for across the league for the last 2-3 years. I've seen more guys get a head start on that kickstand, back pedal, pass pro move than ever before. And they all begin. Like you go around game to game, you're going to see that, as you said, 10 to 12 times. You're going to watch a guy start in before the ball is snapped because defensive ends have become so dynamic. You look at NFL defensive ends now, and the premium is on that position. If you don't have a pass rush, you're dead because any quarterback worth his salt who has more than 4 seconds to throw a football is going to find somebody open, especially with the rules being slanted towards the offense. You can't put your hands on people as much anymore. You really can't reroute guys anymore, all that kind of stuff. So it is incumbent upon every team to find an elite pass rusher. That's why I'm scared to death of the Bucs this year because they don't have one. They don't have one, and that's going to be a problem. I think their run defense will be good. Linebacker play will be fine. Secondary's good. Lots of things that I like about that defense. They don't have pass rush. And you and I are going to be infinitely frustrated when we watch 3rd and 13 converted over and over and over again because nobody can get home. That's an aside. Just thought I'd vent before it ever happens. But the tackles for all teams now have figured out it's either got to be right as that ball moves or maybe a half of a step too soon to have any chance at all to keep these guys from getting to the quarterback. But they got to call it. They got to call it. I don't. It's weird. They don't. You'll see it in every game you watch. Every single NFL game you watch. These guys are really good. Sometimes they time it very well, but a lot of them are moving way too early.
I'm just saying the right side of the line jumps a lot faster than the left side. It's the same offensive line, and that guy is it's wrong. It's wrong. It's like you talking about Bill Self's hair color, quote unquote. It just ain't right. It doesn't fit the circumstance.
Well, anybody, there's two things there. Let's go ahead and define it. Anybody that's got the weave and is coloring their hair, you got a double shot of vanity here. I mean, this is a big time dose, man. This is like a horse tranquilizer of vanity. When you go, I'm going weave, guys. Don't care that I'm going weave. This is an out of control weave atop my head. I'm going to color said weave with an unnatural hair color. To show you what kind of not caring I possess.
Do you know the color of Retief Goosen's bracelet when he won his U.S. Opens? That's the color I'm going with for my hair. That's what we're going with here.
You remember back in the day, what's his name? Mike, what was the guy? The little short announcer who did every game for a long time until he said the thing about Britney Spears and lost his mind and is not doing much anymore?
No.
What was that guy's name? Yeah, he was a huge announcer. He was in the middle of he goes, "What is Britney Spears doing with her life?" He's like, "What?" Yes.
This is play-by-play announcer?
No, you guys. Yes, you were watching. We all talked about it. Yes, say it in the chat, guys. Who was that? It was Mike. What? Forget his name.
Oh, Mike Patrick. Oh,
Mike Patrick. Yeah, Mike Patrick.
I totally forgot about that. Good call.
Yeah, he's freaking nuts. Mike Patrick lost his mind, but there was evidence he was going to lose his mind before he did. And that's when he showed up at the TLC Double C, walking onto the court one day when you and I were doing a broadcast over there. We've only done a couple over there ever because the setup is nonsense. But anyhow, we were trying to get over there to do a show. Ham wanted us over there. And Mike Patrick was doing the game. And he comes walking in. And this is hours before. He's doing his prep. He's a pro. He comes walking in, and I'm like slapping your arm, like, holy, look at this dude's hair. What is he doing? It was spray painted rust color, sort of like, when you go out to your mailbox and you're due for a new one and it's been pelted by rain over the years and it gets that rusty sort of weird red tinny. I can't even describe. That's what his hair was. I was like, what are you doing? How does somebody let you walk out of the house? You can't do that.
I'll tell you one thing. My man doesn't need any Blue Chew or anything like that, any pills, because all he has to do is say John Shire, and he's like my man Gary Danielson is when he thinks about Cam Newton and Tim Tebow.
With Tim Tebow, he was unbuckling.
He's done it again, Vern. Oh,
first down, and Tim Tebow's. What are you doing? I'm taking off my belt. I'm getting ready.
Vern, you know what 4th and 1 means.
I'd forgotten, by the way back when, the devastating loss we had to to Louisville on a rainy Thursday night when Tirico was becoming aroused by Louisville's starting running back, who was plowing through us at an alarming rate. Ooh. And Chris Ricks was throwing the ball over the lot, and we lost in overtime. And Tirico could not stop talking about Louisville and how this was the greatest upset in history, according to him. It was nuts.
This is magical.
And I like Mike. He's done a good job over the years, but damn it, man. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Hey, it's the Millers again. I'm just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping to get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, it's hurting.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Let me tell you why Sentra is a better car than Toyota Corolla. When a customer comes into Kraft Nissan in a Corolla, they drive out in a brand new Sentra 90% of the time. Sentra unseated Corolla is Consumer Reports' best small car, and taller drivers love that Sentra has more leg and headroom. KBB noted that Sentra's zero-gravity seats are road trip comfortable and a cut above the Toyota Corolla. I keep telling you that AutoGuide.com said Sentra is the best-looking compact. Motor Trend added that Sentra has the best compact sedan interior on the market. KBB praised Sentra's Safety Shield 360, a 360-degree camera feature that's rare on bigger cars and SUVs costing twice as much. And last but not least, Sentra costs thousands less than Corolla. At Kraft Nissan, you can buy a Sentra for $395 per month with no money down. That's right, $395 per month with $0 out of pocket. I'm telling you, Sentra is one good-looking car that is high-tech and a blast to drive. You know, it's rare in life when you can get more car for less money. So I invite you to come see the award-winning Sentra for yourself at Kraft Nissan.
Social Kitchen on Cary Forest Parkway is your place for all things related to football season. Need steaks? Social Kitchen. Need chef-prepared sides and appetizers? Social Kitchen. Need desserts for a party? Social Kitchen. Anything you need this fall, Social Kitchen has you covered. Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides that are ready to serve in under 20 minutes. Stop in or visit online at socialkitchentlh.com.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
This is G. Deckerhoff. In 1979, my friend Guy Moore opened his first store. Over 45 years later, Garnet and Gold is still providing the Seminole Nation with unique ways to show their spirit. As the last locally owned FSU merchandise source in Tallahassee, we're proud to be a part of the Florida State experience and this community. If you're a Seminole like me, this is your store. Guard it in gold. Go Noles.
UCF laying 21.5 at home at Sam Houston State tomorrow. 55.5 the total in Orlando. South Florida plus 31 at Alabama. Miami laying 44.5 points at home with Florida A&M. 59.5 at Hard Rock Stadium. No early line on the Florida FCS Samford matchup. And Florida State with a week off after their 0-2 start to the season. They return to action in Tallahassee against Memphis next week as a 3.5-point favorite, 52.5 the total. Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday, 3.5-point road dogs of the Miami Dolphins. The total 49 at Hard Rock Stadium. That's Smarter with Juice Reel. It's free in the App Store. Juice, R-E-E-L. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. It cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Your AC unit decides to give up the ghost. It doesn't always pick the best time. But no matter what time, day or night, or day of the week, you can call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll be out to bring your AC unit back to life. We've been repairing and replacing heating and air conditioning systems in the North Florida and South Georgia area since 1974. So when your air conditioner stops working, call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning to the rescue.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors, and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Show. If you're watching on Warchant TV on YouTube over there. Thanks so much for doing so. We appreciate you. Hello to everybody in the chat there. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're all right. Isn't it nice to be able to relax? Relax a little bit going into this weekend. You're not filled with angst because you're fearing that Florida State is going to once again throw up all over themselves on a Saturday while you're locked in. Tough to watch, tough to stomach, tough to get past, but you don't have to worry about it this weekend. We watch everybody else play. Perhaps we get a couple of great games thrown in there to boot with no fear of where Florida State's at. Now, I will say this, and it's going to be interesting to see. I don't have a definitive answer based on the practices this week of the direction that they'll grow, for example. I mean, people still want to believe or think and hope that Mike makes a change at quarterback. He might. I don't know. I'm beginning to get suspicious that that won't happen, Tom. I think fascinating decision for him in this situation. I feel like he has to make a change. I'm not entirely certain that he will here, but I do believe this, and I think we kind of touched on it briefly yesterday. I think Brock will play. I think Brock will play in this next game without question, and there will be packages for him, and those may increase as we go on, depending on the success rate. And if Florida State is appreciably better at moving the football, then maybe it becomes a prominent role and eventually a starting role. But I believe he eases them into the game plan starting a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, look, I don't want to ever have to have this conversation, but here we are. In Mike's history, he has embraced a multi-quarterback system. In his history here, he's embraced a multi-quarterback system. When he was left with few options, he decided, let's spread the love a little bit, give this different guys series. Let's hope that Brock and DJ don't appear on the field at the same time together. But I would, we've done that before. I would anticipate, like you're saying, if he's not the starter, Brock Glenn, Series 3, like they do these things anywhere where they script out Series 2 or Series 3 is when they do some substituting. I would also want to take a look at offensive substitution patterns at skill positions and how quickly they decide just to go with a bit of a youth movement. Look, we've all talked about Lawrence Toafili and the drop this week, but Lawrence has been largely a really, really good football player for us even this year in limited touches. He's been a plus. So I hope he's still a part of the rotation, but Cam Davis' role seems to be increasing by the week. Does that continue to happen at receiver? Do you see LaWayne McCoy start to rotate in? Do you see Elijah Moore there? I think Kentron deserves more consistent playing time, more consistent targets. He's warranted that. Tight end, is Kyle going to get one more chance to not, drop the football? And if so, what does he do with it? Because if not, is Landon Thomas a part of the equation? Look, Chris Thompson spoke very highly of Landon Thomas before he was back to full strength and full health in this past fall camp. So they got to love him there. Amari Williams, I mean, he's more of an offensive threat than a blocking tight end, but maybe he gets some time as well. Like they've already started that in the defensive backfield. They signaled to you last week, Monday night, that Quindarius is right on the precipice of being a player for you, that KJ Kirkland is going to get some reps. Edwin Joseph got some time as well. I think that's going to be the norm moving forward to the defensive backside. But on offensive skill positions, you're looking at running back and receiver. What do they do?
How could you not begin to tinker with that group? I mean, you don't have an awful lot to play for. It's already been ruined. This takes us back a minute. There was a stretch where every September our season was over, and it was very frustrating. It got to be where we joked about it. Well, September's here, season's over. Didn't think it would happen this year, but this is what's happened. I mean, you're going to lose another game. So if we figure that they'll lose 3 bare minimum, you're not going to the ACC championship in all likelihood at that point. So you do need to play for the future. You do need to get these very young and talented players out on the field. I do think their upside is much greater than many of the veterans that are playing for you now. And moreover, Tom, specific to tight end, who the hell cares if either of these guys, whether it be Williams or Landon Thomas, can block? Because you know who else doesn't block? Kyle Morlock. So what's the point? I mean, you don't have a tight end right now that is very adept at blocking. Morlock's not good at it. They said he worked hard at it in the offseason. He certainly came in bigger, but he's not blocking anybody. And you usually trade that out. You say, okay, listen, I'll live with the fact that my man can't block, but he's a hell of a weapon in the offensive passing game, so we got to utilize that mismatch, except he can't catch all of a sudden and is no longer able to utilize the mismatch. So what good is he? Now, I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater here and say that one horrific game means that Kyle Morlock can't play anymore, But, man, he certainly looks like yet another player on this team that has a crisis of confidence going on. DJ is in that category. There are several. And so at that point, why wouldn't you pull the trigger on the upside of a Landon Thomas, who had a really good spring and then got hurt at the end of it, came into fall camp hampered, but came back late and is a guy that I think has all sorts of upside in terms of being a weapon in the passing game. Now, he's got to get a lot bigger and a lot stronger. That's usually true of freshmen, but there's no question about his talent as a receiver, and he showcased it quite a bit in camp. And then Williams was kind of the talk of camp at the very end, because that was a kid who came in here as a defensive end / tight end and really just a very good athlete who reclassified to get here. You know, this is a guy who truly should be a senior in high school. You never, ever, ever expect that a guy who right now should be in high school could come in and contribute in any meaningful way for you in big-time college football. And yet, that guy was awesome in camp. Now, doesn't mean that he'll get it right in the games. We've seen plenty of people who've had good camps not have good games. Unfortunately, it doesn't always translate. And maybe they don't think his body's ready. Maybe they don't think he's ready. But the point would be nothing is off the table at this point when you're 0-2, having lost to those two teams and the way that you've looked doing it.
Yeah, well, the other part of the equation is, how do you get interest back? You know, how do you get investment back? You know, because you're going to need to dip into people's pockets again this offseason for at least one reason, which is the transfer portal, maybe another reason if you're going to be making some changes on staff. Like, the people who are tired of paying are going to have to pay some more in order for Florida State to get out of this mess. That's the ultimate mea culpa, you know, and you can't give your salary back. So you just got to raise, and it's a really bad look. Buy some bricks, folks. That's Doak Campbell Stadium history. It has nothing to do with it now, unless you want to get one of the bricks that was chipped on Monday night. Maybe Ingram can swing that for you at the battle's end to go buy the brick that was chipped on Monday. But in order to assess properly what you need to do in the portal, you've got to play the younger kids and see how they handle the limelight of game day. It doesn't all have to be against Memphis, but over the next 10 games, you have to do that to assess your roster and give these kids a chance to see for themselves what they can and they cannot do. Because at that point, if they have real reps and real games and they're not good enough yet, and you're talking to them about development, they will handle a portal addition a little bit better than they would if you just continue to play veterans over the next 10 games. And then they've been waiting their turn at receiver or whatever position, and you go grab a kid out of the portal that's a 2 or 3 year starter already somewhere else. That's the dynamic that you have to start to work now, especially with the conference championship essentially out the window.
Remember, this past offseason, now I got to remind Florida State fans of this, because I think sometimes we end up playing the results and not remember the mindset before the actions take place that led to the results, right? Okay. At the end of last year, the snub happens. Everybody's pissed. They're livid. We just went 13-0 and became the first ever Power 5 undefeated conference champion to be left out of a playoff. You have every right to be angry. We voiced our opinion, much to the chagrin of the nation. Okay, so got it. The game against Georgia happens where, you know, your starters opt out and you take a beating of a lifetime. It sucks. You get a lot of negative criticism for it. It happens. You're also upset and frustrated and angered by the most unfortunate set of circumstances that led to all of this, which was Jordan Travis having to run the football against North Alabama's sorry ass because you can't move the ball, and he breaks his leg. So all of these things happen. They're all incredibly negative. The pushback against Florida State fans for voicing their displeasure with all of this is a negative situation to boot. And then we get into this, we go into the offseason and we're thinking, all right, well, as it stands right now, what do they want to do? Do they want to get a head start on some of the young guys that they're excited about, understanding that it means you're going to take a step back, but you just went all in? That's what you did when you went out and got a Keon Coleman and you did all that you did. You just kind of went all in and thought, we're going to make a run at it. Braden Fisk, those guys, we're going to make a run at it and see if we can't have the kind of season they ended up having. And unfortunately, they got screwed after having accomplished the season that they wanted to have, right? They gave everything they had. I wondered at the time, and we talked about this, would you be able to go about the process of having that dip of a season that is inevitable when you tab a young quarterback to start. Do you want to just ride with Brock? Do you think you've seen enough from Brock to start him? And you go with him and you go to yourself, hey, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go 8-4, 7-5 if we play the young guy. We're just not there yet. We don't have the same depth. Just pointed out, Rick is right. We don't have the same kind of depth that a Georgia does, who's had a substantial head start on us right now and recruits better, frankly. Just recruits better, period. So we can't absorb the loss of 10 NFL draft picks and not take a step back. We really can't do it if we're going to go ahead and ride the young quarterback, Brock Glenn, and hope that he emerges by season's end as a guy that you're excited about the following year. The belief was that there was enough in the way of pieces, this is what you and I have talked about, already on this team. So we're at a crossroads that you had enough good pieces, especially your defense, and you thought, this offensive line should be really good. They've got a gazillion starts. They're huge, and we've got a good stable of running backs. I wonder if we just went out and got a little bit more speed at wide receiver, if we just had a more seasoned quarterback, maybe we wouldn't have to take a step back. Maybe we could win 10 games again and seek to defend the ACC title we just won back for the first time in seemingly eons. Maybe we don't have to go through an 8-4 campaign. So you invested in the portal. And Nick Saban retires, and you're like, raid the roster, get what you can get. Clearly you misevaluate. Because none of the guys that you brought in look like they're going to make that big a difference. Now, some of them are multi-year investments, which I'm in favor of. Like Jaylen Brown will probably be a good player for you, and he's here for the foreseeable future, another couple of years at least. And so maybe that's a good investment. I don't have a problem with all of the investments, but a lot of the guys that you invested in that you needed to come in and play right away either weren't good enough to win those jobs and play right away, or if they are playing, they're clearly not making that big of a difference. They're not changing the game. They're not able to sustain a level of excellence that you need. And you miscalculated what your offensive line was. And now now you've got the worst of all worlds, because now you've already spent a lot of your money, if you will. I mean, it's modern era. Let's be grown-ups about it, on these guys that you brought in the portal because you didn't want to take a step back. And so the expectations were through the roof because everybody thought that, hey, you got a guy that's played a ton of quarterback going into his 5th year. He'll at least be decent, and yet he's been awful. You thought that you were upgrading certainly speed and that you would rely on this line to be able to run block for you, and you could throw off a play action so that you could utilize the skill set of a DJU, who was never special but really good at throwing the deep ball and had pockets of really excellent play in his career. You didn't need him to be great is what you thought. But now you whiffed on all of it, and you may have been, it looks like now, would have been better off tempering expectations, letting everybody go into the season with a modicum of hope about 7 to 9 wins.
Yeah, underdogs, kids, right. Talking about those things. I can't wait to let these kids that we've recruited and we're so thrilled to have here in this program go on their journey. That is the PR way of saying we're going to lose some football games, but you're going to love these kids as they grow and get better. Easy. Yeah.
And Mike's always been really good at, setting the expectations realistically in the past. He's understood that there were going to be times they were going to wear some losses while they tried to grow up and do some things in terms of changing the culture and all that. But we didn't go that route. And let me just say this. I started to touch on it last hour and I got sidetracked, as I'm wont to do. But, I was looking at our own boards at Warchant. People were talking about kicking around what's in essence the payroll for the Battle's End and how much are we spending on this roster. And, a lot of people with the kinds of comments that you would expect after an 0-2 start, which is, well, they're not getting their money's worth. They should ask for it back. All these other things. This is why you don't use this. Da, da, da. Remember this, guys. This is the way all of this works, just so you know. No collective, whether it's the Battle's End or any other, okay, but we'll just use ours since that's the one that's been here helping Florida State. No collective decides roster moves. None. A head coach and his staff decide the who's a starter, who's not a starter, who's a second string, who's not a second string, Who do you want to target and try to bring in or not bring in? There's no collective that walks into a coach's office and says, I think we should bring in the wide receiver that LSU is losing. We should bring him in. I think I'm going to give him a call and see if he wants to come here, and we're going to give him a contract. That's not how it works. It's the other way around. The coach tells the collective, hey, we like these three guys. We're going to make a run at so-and-so. Maybe have something prepared. That's how that goes. It's not the other way around. So when you see poor play and you see misevals or players that don't look like they were worth it, there's only one person you can blame, Mike Norvell. That's it. That's it. Sucks, but that's it. He's the only one. And, if you want to say, well, it looks like Randy did a poor job again. Yeah, that's annual. Agree with you. But guess who hired Randy? Again, this is it goes to Mike. Now, I like Mike, and I think Mike's a good coach. I think he screwed up. Looks like he screwed up in a lot of ways. It's certainly distressing. It's frustrating. But it's not like I just sort of retorting here that you hear a lot of people say, well, we wanted this player, but we couldn't get him because we weren't willing to spend enough. Well, for example, that's not true of Cam Ward. Florida State wanted Cam Ward. Cam Ward was interested. But Cam Ward was also interested in his NFL draft stock, and he put off the timeline. He changed the timeline. He wanted to go see what that was, and that was going to push back Florida State's decision by 3 weeks. It wasn't a matter of Florida State said, we'll give you $1.7 million, and Miami said, we'll give you 2.5. That's not why Florida State lost that. The timeline shifted. There hasn't been but maybe a couple of players in the country that if Florida State was seriously interested in and thought would be a major contributor and difference maker on the roster, and it became a bidding war, one that seemingly seems absurd even in some cases. There hasn't been but one or two players that Florida State lost out simply because they could not match an astronomical offer by an opposing program or wouldn't match. Most of the time, you don't think a lot of people wanted Keon Coleman? A lot of people wanted Keon Coleman. Florida State got him. And it wasn't because they were cheap. That's not really the issue. Florida State's collective, by the way, Tom, is that payroll, and I posted this earlier and brought it up earlier, it would put them somewhere between 6 and 15 in the country in terms of money that they spend on a roster.
Right. Yeah.
Not top five, but between 6 and 15.
So Braden Fisk was another example where Notre Dame fans were decrying the lack of their investment from their collective. So how can we let a team from Florida get one of these guys from the Midwest who wants to come to Notre Dame? Like that was their take on the situation when Florida State landed Braden Fisk. Yeah, they're uber competitive. The one thing that they're on record saying, and it was in an On3 article a month or two ago, was like, we don't want to spend 70% of our money on high school kids. And I still tend to agree with that. I like the greater information. You've got a higher hit rate chance with a kid from the portal than you do with a high school kid who is 2 years away from playing. But there's a balancing act that needs to be discussed. Even still, I'm a portal guy, but I mean, look, we tried the portal this year. We assumed we were going to have some hits, but for whatever reason, they aren't hitting. They are not. And
well, they misevaluated. That's the reason they got the wrong guys. This is you just heard Nick Saban say it last week on the desk, which was you talk about a $20 million roster. You better pay $20 million to the right guys, or else you're blank out of luck. So he missed, and it's the first time he missed. He didn't miss with Fisk. He didn't miss with Verse. He didn't miss with a lot of these guys that we loved, that helped us go 13-0, but he missed with these guys. Also, I think there's a couple ways to look at the portal when you're going to use it to the extent that we have. And one of the things that's a downside of using the portal, now he had no choice. I brought this up yesterday. He had to do this. But one of the downsides of bringing in a portal who's a 1-year portal player, let's say, to some degree, even a 2-year portal player, you only get one bite at the apple with those guys. You get two with high school kids. You build relationships, and this staff does not recruit well, as evidenced by our recruiting rankings. Go look at the consensus rankings over the last 4 years under Mike Norvell. This has not been an elite staff when it comes to recruiting high school players. Many reasons for that, some of which is they don't have coaches that are very good at building these kinds of relationships up to the point where you don't lose a kid on the last day. If you want to say that a kid went to Ohio State because he got more money than he would have gotten at Florida State, in some cases that might be true. Ohio State's one of the highest spenders in all of the collectives, amongst all the collectives. That said, that guy had a long-term and consistent relationship with the staff at Ohio State before Florida State ever entered the picture. You've heard people like Alex Atkins kind of lean towards and almost say outright that he would prefer portal offensive linemen. But that by definition tells you that he's not putting a ton into high school recruiting. And I don't think that's the route, man. I think you got to try to do both. It's a lot of hard work, and it's about relationships.
At least for the moment, though, they flipped that script in the offensive line recruiting room. Like that last year's class was good. This year's class is better than good. So you've seen incremental growth, but now you've got to withstand the disaster that is the product on the field. And can you do that? That's the critical point now is, all right, looks like you're ship shape at a couple positions. And that's defensive back. You're recruiting very well. Offensive line, I think you're improving. Receiver has improved greatly. Running back, you're loaded. You've done very well. Even at quarterback, Ohio State didn't like losing Brock Glenn, and Georgia made an 11th hour run at Luke Kromenhawk with a lot of coin. And they both came here. But now for the next wave of kids in 25 and 26, they're starting to see a different product. And now the negative recruiting that you'll hear from other institutions around us about conference or the portal itself,
that part of it,
you start to listen to it a little bit more.
Well, yeah, now you are up against it with the conference stuff. This is being used against you, and even when they spew falsities, there's nothing you can do to combat it. People are drawn to the SEC. Kids are drawn to the SEC, and for good reason. And they're now drawn to the Big Ten for good reason. And, it's like when you're recruiting folks, it's not solely about the NIL. You have to have NIL opportunities. You have to have a really good collective that is going to step up to the plate when there is a battle for an elite difference maker that you're going to, that you got to go to the mat for, that you and Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State and Southern Cal and Texas and Michigan are all going to be going after. In those situations, you have to step up, but they're willing to do that in those situations for the right kid. Most of these guys, a lot of these guys that commit out of high school, they're not just committing because they were offered money. They're offered money by lots of people. Where they commit a lot of times has to do with how early they were contacted by coaches and how consistent that communication was. That's why I talk about with the recruiting being building relationships. Now, a lot of people push back on that and say in modern recruiting circles, what do relationships really matter? If somebody could just swoop in and offer triple the money you're offering, let's say. But I don't think it's quite like that. I think it's more 60%, maybe even 70% relationship building, so as to when that moment happens, you get a shot to counter. If they don't feel connected to you, they leave. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. I got to hit the break. I forgot about that. I'll do it now. Jeff Cameron here to tell you about my friends at DexaFit Tallahassee. What is DexaFit, you might ask? Well, it's where you want to go if you're looking to elevate your health and fitness journey. DexaFit's exclusive services include AI-enhanced body scans, VO2 max fit testing, and RMR metabolism analysis to provide detailed insights into your body composition, cardiovascular fitness, and metabolic well-being. Sounds like a lot of science, but that's because it is the most advanced science available. In fact, that's a good thing, right? DexaFit gives you immediate detailed insights about your body composition, provides a customized plan to improve on troubled areas delivered in an easy-to-navigate mobile app so you can share the information with your trainer or even your doctor to find the most direct path to your peak health. Check out DexaFit Tallahassee, the most accurate and most state-of-the-art body composition scanning and fitness planning available. Located on Capitol Circle Northeast, directly next to Bumpus. Check them out online at DexaFit.com and tell them Jeff Cameron sent you. DexaFit Tallahassee. Know your body and transform your life.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Investors, are you looking for a creative way to purchase your next rental property? Are you looking to get into the Airbnb space? If so, you need to know about DSCR loans. It stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. These are loans that do not require traditional income verification. As long as the proposed rent covers the mortgage payment on the subject property, that's the only income you need. If you're looking at investing and don't know if you can qualify, let's set up a plan to get your next income producing property and start putting you on a path to passive income. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. And don't forget, every fellow Knoll that we close a loan for, I will personally make a donation of $250 to the Battle's End. It's Shannon Young at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373030.
T-Mark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Mark, T-MarkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Mark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Mark.
Like this number, CCC 1331204.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless in zero gravity. All of the weight and worry of life is melted away, and you fall into a state of profound relaxation. This is what you'll find at Tallulah CBD Mushrooms THC in Railroad Square when you try out their state-of-the-art floating pods. While you're there, shop for the best quality CBD, mushrooms, THC, and kava products available. Shop Tallulah today with 6 locations in Tallahassee and the Kava Bar Lounge in Bannerman Crossings. Online at TallulahSmokes.com.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams September holiday sale and get 30% off paints and stains from August 30th through September 9th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
She's the reigning champion, Tom. Let's get it ready. My mom beat me senseless last year in our NFL picks. She's back to do it again. She's actually traveling to Tallahassee to go to my oldest son's football game tonight. That's why we caught up with her earlier today. Fire away, Tommy.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
And there it is. She is the defending champion. That's right. The reigning champion of the pick segment. I am merely a guest on her show. Whenever we do this segment. Mom, how are you? Good to be with you again. Another year.
I know. I'm excited to get started. I'm not looking too great this morning. I've had a rough night. We lost our power, and I didn't get much sleep, and I'm trying to get ready to leave to come see you and my grandson's football game tonight. So anyway, I'm racing around, but I'm thinking
it's
I'm
okay.
ready.
I think the audience appreciates you nonetheless. We both got a win last night with Kansas City. That was a fun game. Good way to start the season.
It was.
We got a game tonight when we get home from watching Bryce's game. Green Bay at Philadelphia, but it's not really at Philadelphia. It is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So
yeah, that is a weird start.
Yeah, very weird start.
I wouldn't like that if I was those teams and I had my home opener or my opening game in Brazil. It doesn't That wouldn't make me happy. Anyway, I picked Philadelphia.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
take-
know. I think Green Bay is going to be good, and I like Jordan. Is it Jordan Love?
Yeah.
I like him, but I don't know. I'm picked Philadelphia to start out. We'll see.
I wish I had the courage of my convictions here. I really think Green Bay is going to be very good, but for this first game back, I think Philadelphia will be trying to make a statement defensively. I'll take Philly as well, but I'm gonna be mad if Green Bay wins this game because I've had a feeling all week that Green Bay was going to win it, and yet I don't have the courage to do it.
I know. It's kind of hard in the beginning to you really see how these teams are going to really, really play. So I know.
Pittsburgh at Atlanta.
Oh, I'm looking here, me and my sheet, especially in the beginning, but I picked Atlanta. I know I did.
Yeah, me too. Arizona at Buffalo.
I picked Buffalo.
Tennessee at Chicago.
Yeah, that's I picked Chicago. I'm not sure why exactly, but I did.
Well, they've got really good offensive weapons is why, although it's a rookie at quarterback.
Yeah.
New England at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Houston at Indianapolis.
I picked Houston. And that's another one that I'm not sure about, but I did pick Houston.
I'm going to pull the upset here and take Indianapolis.
All right, let me put that down.
Houston should win the game. They're favored to win the game. I'm going to a slight upset. I'll take Indianapolis in this one.
Okay.
Jacksonville at Miami.
I'm taking Miami.
Give me Jacksonville on the road.
Okay, I think that's going to be a good one too.
That should be a great game. Carolina at New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Minnesota at the Giants.
Oh, who did I pick? Minnesota.
I'll take the Giants.
Really? Oh my God.
I know. They're both going to stink.
Yeah.
Las Vegas at the Chargers.
Yeah, I took Las Vegas. I'm pretty sure here. Let me double check here. Yes, I did. Las Vegas. I know. I love what's his name, Justin Herbert, but I don't know. The Chargers didn't do good last year.
No, they did not. And then they lost their weapons.
Las Vegas. Well, they didn't do great last year either. But don't they have somebody new now at quarterback?
No, I think it's the same sorry ass quarterback.
I thought what's his name left and went. This is like charades. I thought whoever their quarterback was left and went somewhere else.
You're going to make me look this up, Mother. I don't even know who's starting for the Raiders. I know. It's Gardner Minshew's sorry ass.
Oh, see, I told you their quarterback that they did have that guy. That guy's very religious.
Yeah.
Whoever he is, he left and went somewhere.
Yeah, he sucks too. It doesn't matter. He's with New Orleans, Mom, and he's been there already. So this is. Yeah.
Oh, so Gardner Minshew started last year?
I don't think Gardner. We were talking too much about the Raiders, Mother.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, I picked them. Whoever their sorry ass quarterback is, I picked him.
It's Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
It makes me laugh. Good Lord.
Was he the one that was at Washington?
Yes, Gardner Minshew was in Jacksonville. He's been lots of places. He was in Indiana. He's been everywhere.
All right. Well, he's like a utility player. I'm picking it.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay. Well, there you go. We're either going to be really good or really bad this week.
Denver at Seattle.
Who did I take? I think I took Denver.
I'm taking Seattle. So there you go.
Oh my God, what is this world coming to?
This is great. What a great way to start. Here we go.
Dallas
at Cleveland.
All right, I took Dallas, but I think Cleveland's going to be okay.
I'm going to take Cleveland.
Oh, Jeffrey, I can't get over it.
This is the most.
6 different. That might be the most ever.
Yeah, here we go. Washington at Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
All right, we agree.
Oh, thank the Lord.
The Rams at the Lions.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game, but I'm taking Detroit. I like Detroit.
That'll be a great game. It's the Sunday night game, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Detroit, the nail biter. The Monday night game is the Jets on the road at San Francisco. Another great game.
Another great game. I know that. And I thought I read somewhere that San Fran has got some injuries or stuff. But
yeah. They do.
I think they do, but it's at home in San Fran, and I don't know. We'll have to see if Aaron Rodgers can play more than 4 plays this year. I took San Francisco.
I'll take the Jets in an upset. There we go. Man, how about this week?
I don't know if Tom can keep up with all of these. I'm looking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 7 different. 7.
We don't agree on anything.
I can't get over it. I don't think we've ever had 7 different.
I think we've had 6. I think we broke it. Yeah.
I think we've broken our record. Holy smokes. Well, all I know is I better not lose all of these or I'll be in big trouble.
Well, I don't think you're going to lose all of them. It's really hard to do that. But I'm going to lose some of the ones where I went out on a limb and took the underdog. But, hey, I got to think the Jets defense is phenomenal. I think that, Aaron Rodgers, when healthy, is very good. I think the Jets roster is talented. It's not that San Francisco should be a nail biter, but I just kind of decided to be a little different here. So here we go. I got it.
It's one of those coast-to-coast things, though, where they have to,
Yeah, but it's not in the middle of the season. It's the first game of the year. They shouldn't be weary.
Yeah, right. I know. It's still a trip. But anyway, well, we'll see. I like San Francisco too. So
there you go. Well, Mama, I will see you later today. Drive safe.
Yes, I will be there. I'm hoping I'm not going to encounter a lot of rain and bad weather or traffic or anything. But anyway, no, I'm looking forward. I can't wait. Bryce has got to score another touchdown this week.
I'm crossing my fingers that he does for you, Mama. Love you.
I know. Love you too. See you soon. Bye-bye.
There goes Mama, who is trying to make her way to Tallahassee with the expectation in Florida that she's not going to encounter rain or traffic. Good luck with that one. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A South Georgia man is behind bars after being accused of using other people's identities to purchase cars from several dealerships in Tallahassee and across the Southeast. Jamal Smith, 29 years old, of Albany, was arrested Wednesday and faces 449 counts of criminal possession of personal identification information, 1 count of scheme to defraud over $50,000, and 1 count of aggravated white-collar fraud. He's also facing charges in Miami-Dade County. The investigation into Smith began when an employee at a Tallahassee dealership alerted FSU that Smith was attempting to purchase a vehicle with information they believed was fraudulent. After an investigation, officers arrested Smith and found text messages in Smith's phone, photographs, videos, interviews with all the victims, and documents confirmed that Smith had been fraudulently using others' information to purchase vehicles. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Probley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy this afternoon with storms and heavy rain likely. Highs around 79, southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 70 tonight, chance for storms. Thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs level off around 79, cloudy skies expected. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 75.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Barman, you look so twisted. What did you do now?
Well, Hank the alligator needed his teeth brushed, and when I bent over to give him a scrub, my back popped like an afternoon lightning storm in Florida. And now I can't even stand up.
You need to go to FinnChiro.com and schedule your new patient appointment right away at FinnChiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com.
I'm really busy. I don't want to leave Hank in the orange grove unattended for too long.
Finn Chiropractic will get you in right away, and they get to the cause of your problems. So go to FinnChiro.com and make your new patient appointment. There's even an online discount.
Discount? That's a good thing because my purse is a little light since I bought Hank a new gold chain.
You have to take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of your alligator, Hank. Make your appointment now. Go to FinnChiro.com.
All my pina colada, I'm going to FinCairo.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
By far, I think that is the most, right, Tom? That's got to be 7.
I can't ever remember more than 5. You might have done 6 once. And I feel like if you did 6, then it was a split 3-3. I don't think there's ever been more lopsided of a week than maybe a 4 spot for whoever won the given week.
Anything that's that robust probably ends in 500 or 4-2, 2-4 type thing. But 7, man, somebody's got a chance to get fat early.
Fat?
Probably. Yeah, fat. It's well done. It'll probably be my mom. We got to do Red Zone, man. I can't wait to hear these questions on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down, buddy. Let's cue it up and make sure my man Adam Tolliver and our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies are ready to go.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
Never gets old, Tom. That's one of the better masterpieces, buddy. I gotta give you credit.
Well, every freaking rep hits a little different these days, doesn't it?
Hurts, man. Hurts. Yeah. If you go to NoelRetirement.com, you'll see Retirement Red Zone scoring in the Retirement Red Zone, and it's success in your garnet and golden years, as Adam put it there in the video. You can join their email list, and you'll get a free retirement readiness assessment. They also do financial planning, estate and legacy planning, risk management, investment management, business succession and exit strategy. All the things, man. All the things. So go check them out, NoelRetirement.com. First down, here we go.
Percentage confidence you have for a win against Memphis is what?
So Memphis ended up playing, I think it was an FCS school, right? Didn't they play? North Alabama. They played an FCS school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, North Alabama. And they averaged 2.2 yards per carry in that game. That's straight up ass sorry against an FCS team. I was buoyed by that. I began to feel better about Florida State's chances. Marry it with a bye week. 52% chance the Noles get it done, buddy. 52% chance they get it done. We get our first win of the year, buddy, off the schneid.
Wow. Okay. Second down. More carries in the game against Memphis. Roydell Williams or Cam Davis?
I see you working. This is a good one.
Yep.
Cam Davis.
Oh, okay.
Cam Davis.
By a healthy margin?
No. But I'll go Cam Davis. I think that we begin to work the young guys in. Let's go. Let's go.
More snaps, third down. More snaps on the field against Memphis. Fentrell Cypress or any combination of young players that are assigned to his position. So obviously if they're playing safety or slot, doesn't count.
Fentrell Cypress.
Okay. It was really strange, though, to see him come off and Nazarier not come off on Monday.
I don't know what that was about. It's not like either of our corners had bad games. The corners, I mean, they didn't tackle. They didn't tackle anybody. But covering was not, and they were throwing to the running backs. So
they had the miscommunication with Shaheem. That was the big Fentrell mistake. The other one was he was late on that deep throw, but it was like 7 seconds of time for the quarterback.
Yeah,
so
7 seconds is a long time to cover. So
probably 3 or 4, but still, it was plenty.
I'll go easy on that one. Yeah, I think Fentrell will get another chance at it. Yeah.
Okay, fourth down. This is rapid fire today.
A big fourth down here.
It is.
And we're not going for it on our own 35. We're going to go ahead and punt it away. But this is in their territory. Here you go.
Jesus, I should ask you if he does something dumb like that again this week, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to ask you over under 9.5 pass attempts for Brock Glenn against Memphis.
Under. I don't think, under, unfortunately. I think, hey, listen, I think that the packages that they'll have for him are going to be a whole lot of him running around and with authority. See if we can create the extra gap. Let's go. Let's create the math problem, and let's get Brock out on the edges. Let's let him run the ball and make some plays. Now, I do think they'll let him throw it, but I'm going to go under 9.5 attempts for him. But I think he's going to run a lot. Maybe right at 9. That's a good number, Tom.
Yeah, right at now. I just pick these things out of thin air. Who knows?
Here's the problem. Here's the deal. If I knew he were starting, I'd obviously go over. But I don't. But I don't think he's starting. I think they're going to start DJ. I don't know that. Listen, this is one, guys. I'm not giving you like a wink, nod, or anything. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not even entirely certain at this moment. Mike does either. But I because I don't know, I'm going to presume right now that they're going to start DJ. It's fascinating to me because we talked about this yesterday, but it's true, Tom. DJ was the better quarterback in camp than Brock, and that's why they started him. It was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be moments in practice from now until this upcoming game where DJ still looks better in practice. At some point, you say, though, the games matter, and he's been awful in these games. I don't know. It's the classic, let's see if the kid's a gamer type thing. I don't know.
Well, that's how you work the kid in without naming him the starter. That's how you assess that without stepping on toes about merit and all that kind of stuff. It's a reasonable ask at this point. Look, this is the other thing. When you're paid as well as these players are paid at the high level, like DJ is, or Marvin, or Daryl, or Farmer, or whatever, you're handsomely paid to do whatever the hell I tell you to do. You're mine. Your ass is mine. And so, you might be able to get $50 at the NFL next year. You're costing yourself a lot of money. It was going to be a lot more before this first game. But for right now, since you're paid well, if I tell you to sit, you sit. Doesn't matter. That's the thing. And I know that there are more dynamics to it because there's no inducement and there's no inducement. There's no incentive laden parts of these contracts. But damn it, man.
By the way, get rid of that nonsense.
Look, if you're seeing these consistent results from DJ in which, at best, he's not seeing the offense the same way that Tokars and Mike do. At worst, he's just missing dudes. You've got enough evidence to say, I'm not coming for your money, dude. You already have it. That's the crappy part of NIL deals. It's like a baseball contract. You're all guaranteed. So you got your money. So here's what you're going to do with it. You're going to hold the clipboard and you're going to coach the hell out of Brock Glenn on this drive. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, it's not hard. You can't let that dictate terms. I agree with you. Now, I'm also not naive. I understand that sometimes it's going to have an influence on the decision that you make. You're not apt to want to give up on an appliance you spent a lot of money on, and you don't like the way it's working in your kitchen. You brought it home. You were all excited about it. You brought it in. It's an attachment to the sink that you feel good about that's going to help out the process of cleaning food, whatever it might be, right? And you're like, this thing's not working the way I thought it would. The picture says it should be doing this, and it's not doing this. And then you're like, I hope this is not all I can do. Maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I'm going to have to read the directions after all. This is not work. Like, you don't want to give up on it because you spent $200 on it. And so you just keep trying. But at some point, you're like, this stupid thing sucks. I'm getting rid of it. I mean, you just have to, and it's a sunk cost.
Right. Well, the thing that I've seen just in watching the games, I have no idea where DJ's eyes should be because that is what the play call dictates. It's what the reads dictate, the pre-snap adjustments, all that stuff. You can never know where he's supposed to be in terms of where his head is facing on the field. However, I have seen enough things that come open, and when they come open, he's looking somewhere else. And I'm not seeing a lot of completions. Like, I'm not seeing a trade-off here where it's like, well, he made a different decision, but they hit a shot, on this one. Like the Ja'Kai Douglas deep out where he underthrows it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things open there. At least Ja'Kai was open in that moment. It's like you have multiple choices, which one is most correct within the offense, but there were a lot of correct choices because Georgia Tech allowed 3 wide open dudes, and we found a way not to hit one.
Not
but
one
at least you chose a dude who was open. But there's
one, though.
No, nary one. There's a throw on 3rd or 4th down on Monday night where he throws into quadruple coverage, and he had time. And I'm like, well, surely, unless they've got 15 players on the field, other guys are not in quadruple coverage. And there's a throw he made in Ireland where it's deep down the sideline. It really didn't have a chance. It might have been Benson was the shot, but there's a wheel route that's right underneath it. And I know they love the wheel in this offense, and it's wide open, and he doesn't throw it to the wheel. That's the disconcerting thing is I think it's a hypothesis. The offense is telling him to look in different places than he's actually looking, and you can't have it. I don't care if you practice well. You can't have that.
Once that happens in the game, and there's 2 now, you have 2 full games as data points. I don't care if he makes every read in practice. It doesn't matter. Clearly, it doesn't translate. The rat trapping is real at that point. You're not, for whatever reason, comfortable. And, I don't have time to worry about whose fault that is. I don't know if that's all on DJ and some of it's on Mike. If it's all on Mike and not it doesn't matter. It's not working. If it's not working and you think you have a better option on the bench, then you got to go to the bench. That's the end of it. Justin writes, man, give me Luke, give me Cam, give me McCoy, give me Moore, give me Gibson, give me Amari, and get ready for 2025. I'll say this, Justin. I'm with you on most of it, and I'm certainly with you on the sentiment. I don't think I'm rolling Luke out there just yet. I would use this as a pretty good test case for Brock and see what we got. See what it is. Find out what you need to do in that room moving forward. If he's an unmitigated disaster, your season's already lost. I mean, go out there and find out what the deal is. If he started 10 games and by season's end you still have real trepidation about who he is, well, then next year it's Luke's and let's go. And, Brock will probably transfer and you get whatever you get. Whether I don't know if you're going to go with Luke or you'll go to the transfer portal, but you'll have something definitive by which to judge it on. Instead of being thrust into action when he wasn't prepared at a time that was way too early in his young career and then given no chance at all in the damn bowl game. That's not fair at all. Good work, Tom. Say goodbye to everybody.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Enjoy it. We'll talk to you on Monday. Peace.